Jake, what skill would you be most impressed by me having? Like, just
if you could do a backflip, I'd be very impressed.
Just a backflip. That's not.
That was a bit of a slip there, but yeah, if you could do a backflip, because you don't look like you could do a backflip, and if you suddenly did one in front of me, I would be amazed. I would think Charlie could do things that I didn't think he could do, and it wouldn't just add to your abilities as you can now do a backflip, but it would add all potential kinds of stuff. I'd be like, you know what? Maybe Charlie can skydive. Maybe he can do a front flip. Maybe he can swim across the channel. Maybe he's a superhero. You know, it opens possibilities for you if you can do a backflip.
I think
all of which are possibilities that are closed right now.
I think I could learn to do a backflip I don't think it's that hard. I think there's a lot of backflip propaganda out there that says backflips are more difficult than they are. It seems easy. Give me like a week, and I reckon I could get a backflip down.
I bet you $10 that by the next recording you cannot do a backflip.
Well, I have a full-time job. When am I going to learn to do a backflip
oh my God.
with
so
a
now
full-time
there's going to be excuses the rest of your life about why you can't learn how to do a backflip.
Also,
you have to take back what you said unless you want to take my bet.
No, I won't.
Okay, well then you're just a liar.
How many dollars is it that I would have to pay?
$10.
$10? USD or Great British pounds?
Nobody says bucks. Unless they mean USD.
Oh, yes, but, you know, I'm trying to get you a better deal, because Great British pounds are worth more. But you just talked yourself out of it. You just talked yourself out of an extra $1 or $2. Nah, see, because I don't have anywhere I could train for a backflip, or a front flip.
These are a lot of excuses from somebody who said they could do a backflip with a week. So it sounds like you can't.
A week, not this week, just a different week.
The more metaphorical, perfect week where you have absolutely nothing to do, and you have this large space to practice backflips with like a safety net or something, so you don't injure yourself. So you're not doing it, is what I'm telling you.
Maybe outside. I think I'd prefer to try and practice outside on the grass. But I can't go outside because it's all snowy. You're not going to make me go do it in the snow, are you?
If you don't start the podcast, I'm going to lose my mind.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, my co-host, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Galoth. How you doing today, Jacob?
I am contento, Charles. Excited for another episode of the podcast where we have new worlds, characters, and thrilling stories packaged into exciting TV shows and films every single week.
So good.
And this week, Charlie, I've got a new show for you, which you gave me the title for, which was...
Rectangular Love.
I think I joked about making this about shapes and making it like a children's show or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was trying to come up with that, and I had nothing for that, so I went with a robot show. So we have a love story about two robots who are separated across the galaxy and are trying to find their way back to each other.
That was my initial idea for the show.
Is it actually?
Yeah. I was like, well, it's got to be robots falling in love because they're rectangles.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of as well. I was like, has to be robots. Or like, I was also thinking about a guy with a rectangular heart, but I couldn't figure out what to do with that. I thought maybe he'd be like a killer, or maybe it'd be like kind of like the man with the golden gun scenario, where like the name is just like about the guy with the thing, you know, and the story kind of has like somewhat to do with it. A little bit, like, you know, the man with the golden gun, James Bond movie, where the guy has a golden gun and he's trying to kill James Bond. But there's way more to it than that.
Are you sure?
And this would be like rectangular love. The guy has a rectangular heart. And the story really has not a ton to do with that, but he does have a rectangular heart, so.
Yeah, you could definitely do like a sort of Edward Scissorhands style Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Like he's a man and he's traveling across the world and he's like getting into all sorts of kooky adventures that, you know, all lead into the same general point, which is you love yourself. Don't be don't hate yourself because you're a horrible, disgusting rectangular heart. You should love yourself even if you are have a horrible and disgusting rectangular heart. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
That should be the story. But that's
I would
not
assume it would like work fine and everything. It's just like he just got a rectangular heart, and maybe he's got like something on his chest to show it. But that's not the show I did at all. I did a show about robots. So we have 2 robots, Charlie. We have Fred, F4ED, but I'm gonna say Fred, and which is a cleaning janitor bot made for scrubbing floors, walls, and decontaminating ships. It has like this sort of like multiple upgrade system where he can like pop himself in to make himself bigger or smaller. And I mean, so he like in his littlest form, he's just like this little like almost like a Roomba looking thing, but a little bit bigger. Like it's got like maybe like a mix between Wall-E and a Roomba. Wall-E being the robot from Wall-E, the movie, if you don't know that.
Wall-E.
I don't know what's wrong with you. Anyway, so, but he would like go into like a bigger like sort of module thing that would make him a bigger robot and let him do like more cleaning. So like he'd do the floor cleaning as the little guy, and then if he's scrubbing walls, he'd go into a bigger thing, and then if he's like cleaning the ceiling, he goes into a bigger thing, and
like a Power Ranger. What are the
exactly like a Power Ranger? I was trying to come up with the word, and that is exactly what I was looking for. Like it's the little bots connect to make a bigger bot, but he's the only robot. His pieces aren't robots themselves.
Yeah.
They're just like
they're not smart. He's smart.
Yeah, they're just like things, and he connects himself to them. Anyway, his programming is to take care of the ship. Then we have Hela. Hela, HE1A. Hela is an AI missile defense system with constant programming to protect the ship at all costs. So, episode 1, we open from the perspective of Fred as he's cleaning a large mess hall that is completely empty. He's having a good time, and he stops to carefully polish a poster about Hela, the AI missile targeting defense system. We get a brief flashback at this moment of him cleaning the defense system and talking to Hela as the 2 robots kind of hit it off. We then go back to the present, to the ship, where an alarm is blaring. People rush through the cafeteria, and Fred starts desperately trying to clean up the mess, because everybody's kicking like dirt and random stuff onto the floor, and a stampede of people coming through is definitely going to create a mess. So he's trying to like clean up after them.
Yeah.
And as more and more people come through and the alarm's blaring like crazy, then suddenly parts of the ship are getting torn apart, and he's desperately trying to repair and clean up everything. And eventually it gets so bad that an abandoned ship message plays, and Fred's programming goes wild for a second as he doesn't know what to do, because his programming is to clean and take care of the ship, but now it's saying abandoned ship. So he's just like confused, and he looks back and he sees the poster of the defense system, and he rushes to the missile bay. He's desperately flying and jumping from piece of wreckage to wreckage as the ship is torn apart by explosions and lasers, just like cutting through. And he's got like those, sometimes in sci-fi things are like robots or people have like boots that like magnetize to the floors.
Yeah,
right?
I love those.
So he's like
those
magnetized to like
cool.
a piece of wreckage, and then he's like disengaging it and then clamping onto the next one, and like using like the force of the declamping to shoot himself to
like
the next
the
piece. It's all pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's not just explosions. I like explosions in sci-fi, like in base battles, or ship battles, but I want like a lot of I want like lasers cutting through, and you can just like see it just suddenly slice through the ship, and then it's like sawed in half, and he has to like jump through the gap that's now created.
Maybe it would be cool if it was like outside of the ship, like outside of our main character's purview is the opening of Revenge of the Sith, like that crazy super badass space battle with all this like, I'm not saying make it a space battle, but like all this like really cool intense sci-fi shit happening outside of what our character's paying attention.
That would be really cool. I like that, just a massive space battle all outside, and we're just like focused on this like little piece, but we can see everything going on in the background, and maybe we'll cut to like bits of it as well, and we can and when we cut to like the wide shot of the chaos of the battle, we can see just like the little bit of our robot jumping through hoops to get to the missile bay.
Get to Hela, get to his love, his rectangular love.
The ship's getting torn apart. He finally reaches the missile bay, where he sees Hela firing off missiles and trying to defend the ship. Hela calls out for him just as the explosion separates them. We watch as Fred's electrics are knocked out and he is kicked into the void of space, hurling with a large chunk of wreckage. We follow the wreckage as it continues through space. Years pass and the wreckage frosts over and splits up, and it goes into little pieces and getting more and more shredded away by space as it hits other things and goes through time. And this starts off as like a quick thing, and then it becomes like a slow thing because years and years are passing as it flies through space.
Mm-hmm.
And it eventually gets picked up by a gravitational field, and the meteor roars into the atmosphere, striking through a storm just as lightning hits it, restoring Fred's systems. The janitor bot screams as hurled into the planet, smashed into the dirt and rock. As the dust clears, we see like a giant, vibrant red world full of these big trees that are red but also dead, and these spindly bushes in a sweeping, colorful atmosphere. I'm thinking like streaks of green and blue and orange hues, just like stringing through the sky, kind of like Aurora Borealis, but a little bit like flatter, not as defined.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense scientifically, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's a show about robots. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, who cares? If robots falling in love, I mean, who's gonna criticize me?
Not me.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, is he gonna
probably
send something in?
But
I don't think. Yeah, maybe.
He's annoying.
If he sends something in, then definitely he is annoying.
Yeah.
Now, so we're down on this planet. Fred's system sputter to life, and he ejects from his larger janitor bot suit into his small floor cleaning module. So that kind of saved him from the impact, his big suit. And he stumbles out onto the earth, kicking dust and rock as his wheels prove to be a poor match for the terrain. And he moves forward some distance and then turns back around to look at the wreckage of the ship. It's this sizable chunk of the huge vessel that we were just on, with a bit of the engine bay and the cafeteria and just other chunks of and bits of the ship as well.
The spaceship.
So it's a big area that's covered up by imagine the size of a suburban neighborhood. It's a massive stretch.
Yeah, that's a big chunk. That's bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be the size of a school bus, but no, a whole neighborhood.
No, this is big area. I want this cool shot of Fred on a little cliff, looking down at this massive wreckage and just taking in what just happened. So, big chunk of the vessel, and with a beep and a whirl, he gets to work, just as he's always done, cleaning up the mess. A lot of his attachments are broken, so the work takes even longer than it would, but he managed to clear out a chunk of the engine bay that came with him down.
Mm.
And he continues cleaning, but even his direct program begins to notice that the futility of what he's doing. He's only got part of the ship. It's not really even a ship anymore. This wreckage is, it's no longer the vessel that he was working on. So he starts wandering around, going a bit haywire, just sort of banging into things, destroying some of the work he's gone through. He's just sort of confused and lost and unsure of what to do because his direct programming is he's unable to complete it. He's got nothing he can do. He can't defend there's no ship left to clean and take care of. So he's going through the wreckage of the cafeteria when he finds the poster of Hela. Maybe he rides over it slightly and then he backs up and he freezes and he picks it up.
Uh-huh.
And his programming realizes that Hela is the ship. And we see some text on maybe his back or the front of him changes, overwrites his programming and says instead of take care of the ship, it changes to take care of Hela.
Ooh.
End of episode 1.
Ooh, I like it. That's a good setup for a space adventure Odyssey style. Finding Nemo.
Yes, this is. I mean, it's kind of Finding Nemo. Bits and pieces, at least.
Yeah.
So, episode 2, Fred starts repairing the ship and working to get things together. He has to journey into the wastes and fight a beast to get the engine back. And he'll lose the first fight as his little form, but he'll come back with new modules he'll sort of retool some of his old modules to be more of fighting things.
Yeah.
His, and we'll see him fighting this beast in this kind of not a mech suit, but a bigger robot suit. And he's using tools that were for cleaning to beat up the monster.
Hell yeah.
Those big scrubbing brushes in car washes that clean cars?
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like steel wool bristles, and he's like just scrubbing the face of this beast, and it's like shredding him up.
That's so cool. I also like the idea that maybe he's, he loses the first fight, he gets chased off or runs away or thrown off or whatever. And he goes back to the ship and he finds some of his old modules, but it's not enough, so he also has to kind of cannibalize the ship a little bit. And so we get a cool Iron Man style suit up sequence where he's like taking all these scraps and he's constructing a suit out of them. I just think that's a fun image.
That is cool, yeah. I like that. And then after he beats this beast, I think he's not gonna kill it. It's gonna be like sort of tamed by him.
Oh,
and he's gonna, when he gets to the engine, he's not gonna be able to pull it, and the beast is gonna help him pull the engine back to the ship and help him like connect it, like he connects it everything back up, but the beast got it like there into the right spot and everything. And so that's the end of episode 2. Episode 3, he gets the ship working again and blasts into space. Kind of unsure of where to go, but he sets the location to the coordinates of the ship's last known position.
Is there
and as we travel through
tearful
space,
goodbye to the beast? Like it's like his pet, but he can't fit it on the thing, and so he I
think he doesn't really care about the beast, but maybe the beast just sort of watches him go up, and then we'll just stare at the thing as it goes, and then he'll just walk away. Like we'll see a shot from like the ground looking up at space as the ship flies up.
Yeah.
And
maybe it's like every time you leave a dog, where it turns around, it starts to walk away all sad, and then it looks back and does that one final ooh, and then turns away again.
Good.
And you just get oh, this poor horrible space monster.
Yeah. So in episode 3, he gets the ship working and blasts into space. Going to the ship's last known location. And as we're traveling through space, we watch the love story. We see like a flashback of Fred and Hela. We see how they first met when Fred was cleaning the missile bay, and how he continued to come back, and he would make sure that area was clean more than anything else, and how he continued to stay up late talking and connecting with her, and just doing little weird robot stuff. Like she would show off the missiles, and he would do comedic gags with his different modules, like dropping them off and plop them in and silly stuff. Silly robot humor of him, stuff R2-D2 would do that's funny in Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Stuff, it's a robot pretending to be human. And it's look how dumb these human beings, look how ridiculous these human beings are. They wear shoes or whatever,
Exactly. So, he arrives at the end of the episode. He's going to arrive at the wreckage, and there's nothing there. No wreckage is left. It's the right spot, but there's nothing left of the ship that was there. And that's the end of the episode. Just sort of like a cliffhanger, fuck, there's
no.
Nothing.
Yeah, maybe we could have a cool match shot. Because I think it would be fun if we did them meeting and them getting to know each other in the episode, sort of like Memento, where we have their romance is told in reverse, and the final shot is he's cleaning the hangar bay or the weapons bay or whatever, and that's when they're installing Hela 1, and that's we get the human beings, because I'm assuming this is kind of like Animal Farm, where we're not getting really any person's face or perspective, but we can hear the human beings describing Hela, right, and talking about all of her cool, things, all of her features and everything, and Fred is sort of awestruck, and then we have a fun match shot to the empty bit of space, or the empty, weapons holding facility or whatever, just showing how desolate everything is, and Fred, who was so full of hope, is now full of sadness and not hope.
Yeah.
The opposite of hope, whatever the opposite is of hope.
Hopelessness.
Despair.
Anyway, despair. Episode 4, however, there might be a little bit of hope, but not at first. So he scours the site and finds that it's been over 200 years since the ship exploded, and all the pieces are scattered and distant, and he sort of maps it out, and it's kind of impossible to tell where anything could have gone. He would have to it's like a 1 in a million that he'll find out where Hela has gone and whether, and there's no way he knows whether or not she's still intact as well. So he's distraught and nearly gives up until he finds a missile trail that is this strange kind of like lingering vapor that's sitting in the atmosphere, like that, and he like analyzes it, and it's this kind of vapor that like sits there for it expires like every 50 years, and you can see like older trails as well, because you know how like you know how uranium like it's got like a half-life and it like slowly goes away over time because it's irradiated.
Yeah.
But even like stuff that's like nearly completely gone, you can still see like faint traces of it. Because it keeps halving and halving and halving, but it gets down to like, you know, 0.5%, half of a half of a percent, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You take a half step towards a wall, you'll never reach the wall. That sort of thing. And
the way this works is he can see like there's even older trails, so he can see that something has been sending out missiles to this area.
Oh.
Just leaving trails for like all this time, and they're all going off in like different directions, and he sees that it's mapped out to like the different possible vectors for like the wreckage. So something else was looking for something that disappeared in the wreckage, but he can see they're all coming from the same place. So he starts to follow it, and that is the end of episode 4. Episode 5, we are back in the ship, and we're now getting Hela's perspective from the incident day of when the ship blew up. So she's gearing up her morning routines on the ship when suddenly the ship is hit by a torpedo, and she's starting to fire and fight the other vessels because a bunch of different ships have like all warped in at the same time. It's like a big surprise attack. So we're getting like more context about the overall space battle here that happened. But it's like all the ships are much larger and have more advanced technology, and it's clear that this ship, no matter, you know, even though it's huge, is completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And the way her programming works is that she has to continually decrease the zone of defense on the ship that she can protect. So at first she's like protecting, because she's a defensive missile system, so she's just shooting down missiles as they come in. She has to continually decrease the zone that she's protecting by shooting down missiles. But she's like she's trying to keep it wider because she has Fred's location, and she doesn't want him to be outside the zone of protection. So it's like she's kind of stretching herself and like doing, like going crazy, trying to protect more of the ship so she can protect Fred as well. And we see her, we still see shots of like him jumping through the ship and her like missiles coming in, almost about to hit him, but she blows it up. So this will all be like matched to before, like the scene that we saw with Fred, but now we're getting like the wider context of the battle and seeing like that she was protecting him along the way. But eventually he obviously reaches the missile bay, and just as he sees her and she sees him, that's when the explosion happens. And he's blown away, but she stays there in the battle as like the smoke clears, and continues fighting and defending what's left until all the everything is destroyed in a big explosion, and the leftovers of the ship, including her, are hauled away to a distant planet, to a distant world where they're scrapped and refitted. And Hela is slated to be reprogrammed. So she just got, taken away as like a war prize in this battle, taken to some random planet. She's about to, she's been ripped out of the system, and it's gonna be reprogrammed because she's like this valuable AI system for missile defense. They're gonna keep it around, and she's about to be programmed when the planet she's on is attacked, Charlie. And so they quickly shove her into the system, and they have to defend them from an attack because they don't have like an AI for their missile system. And so even though she's not even reprogrammed, she still defends the planet, shooting down all the missiles, saving the city. And they see it works, and they're like, it's fine then, we don't need to reprogram it. So she gets to live this second life as this city defense system. And at first it's all kind of like good. She's like shooting down missiles, like just living life as this defense system. But at night, and as this continues, she misses Fred. She's thinking about Fred. So she's sending out like little probes and puts like inquiries into like the larger data system to try to find out what happened to the wreckage of her original ship. But nothing comes up, and she thinks, well, he's lost. Everything else has been destroyed. So that is the end of episode 5. Episode 6, is the final episode. And this is, we're still from her perspective. And we get a great pandemic sweeps the planet, and everything is quickly killed off and dead, and the whole city is like destroyed very, very suddenly. Not destroyed as in like bombed or anything like that, but like destroyed as in like everybody's dead, and it's just kind of like this, wasteland. And she's distraught because she's unable to protect anyone from what just happened. She can protect people from missiles. She can't protect them from invisible viruses. So now her new purpose is gone, and she looks through her system and notices that no one actually really looked for the wreckage. So even when she sent out inquiries and it was like everything's destroyed in the larger like data system from that ship that she originally was on, like she sees that like the people that actually blew it up and were looking for the wreckage of things and stuff didn't really actually look too hard, and things, pieces of the ship could be anywhere. So this is when she starts sending out these vapor missiles that Fred saw, hoping to find out where he went. Sending like different missiles to different places that are on the list of like the vectors that wreckage could have gone, and adding the trail so that Fred could come and find her. So we cut now to Fred as he arrives on the planet, and the two are reunited, and he begins taking care of her system, and he protects her from, while she protects him from beasts and meteors and that kind of stuff. And they have this like nice little quiet life together. Her as this like, forgotten defense missile system on this planet, and him as this robot that's just taking care of her system and everything. And the show ends with their circuitry expiring together as the sun sets.
Aww, isn't that sweet? Isn't that a sweet little story that you did?
Yeah, just a nice little robot story. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I do too. I enjoy Fred and Hal. I think they're a fun duo. They're a fun couple. Nice little short little love story about robots who care about each other. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Thank you.
Did you have an idea if you wanted it animated or live action? Like 3D animated?
Live action was what I was thinking. It could be like CGI animated, but I think... Or no, sorry, I was thinking animation, but it could be like CGI animated.
Yeah.
It definitely couldn't be live action, I think. It would be best with like a unique art style. Very simple. This could be like a children's show. This could be... you could combine everything into one like short film, I think, or I guess a film. But I think it's best off as like a family show.
Yeah.
It's not really perfectly just oriented towards kids, but it's a good mix, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, and there's enough action, comedy to get everybody involved. Get the whole family around the television machine to watch the newest episode of Rectangular Love. Oh, even old grumpy dad likes it because it's got lasers, but it's also got heart. I'm writing the TV ads for it right now. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And we'll of course cast Timothée Chalamet as Fred the robot. It's gonna be a lot like the Muppets, where he's gonna be the only human being. Everybody else is gonna be animated, but it's going to be Timothée Chalamet in a robot costume, running around a green screen room, and we'll just put him in the show. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like The Mandalorian. Thank you everyone for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles. Along with me has always been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, gunner, navigator, orator, and podcasting associate, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe to a friend, to a family, to a dog, to a cat. And remember, we'll be here next week with a brand new television series, which will be titled Da-da-da-da. Do you remember the title?
City of Almost.
Of Almost. It almost could be anything. Do you want to hear the initial idea that I had for the show that I'm not doing now? Because I had a better idea.
Yeah, sure. What is it?
I had an idea that there was this mythical city that exists like in a parallel dimension where it's a whole bunch of technology that almost works and a whole bunch of people who were almost famous. So, like, in the city has, like, everybody who ever lost a presidential campaign and then never won one later in their life. And every, like, instead of flying around in planes, people fly around in a big, like, suit. Like a flying squirrel suit, because that guy who jumped off the Eiffel Tower and it almost let him fly, but it didn't let him fly. That was my initial idea, but I realized how much research I would have to put into it, and I was like, you know what? I don't think that idea has enough legs for the amount of work that would need to go into writing that show, you know?
Yeah.
So, now I've got a different idea that takes a different approach to the title, A City of Almost. So,
okay.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be great. And you'll have to find out what it's about next week, folks.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.